Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I should have known the dinner invitation was a trap the moment my mother's voice dripped with sugar over the phone. Maggie, darling, come home this Sunday. It's been too long since we sat together as a family. Too long, more like 7 years of me wiring them money month after month while they barely remembered my birthday. But some foolish part of me still clung to hope that maybe, just once, they wanted me, not my bank account. So I drove the 2 hours back to the house I'd helped save from foreclosure. The cracked driveway, the front porch light still flickering after all these years, all paid for by the daughter they never thanked. Inside, the dining room glowed warm under the old chandelier. My father was already at the head of the table, swirling a glass of wine, eyes glued to some spot on the tablecloth. Tristan sprawled lazily in his chair, foam in hand, while Olivia fluttered around, pretending to help our mother with the roast. I set down the bottle of Cabernet I brought. Smells good, Mom. She barely glanced at me, lips tight. Sit. Eat while it's hot. We made stiff small talk. I asked about Tristan's endless college career. He shrugged, not bothering to look up. Olivia chirped about a new business venture she wanted to try, code for me footing the bill, no doubt. All the while, I pushed food around my plate, uneasy at how forced it all felt. Then Parker, Olivia's smug boyfriend, leaned forward, drumming his fingers on the table. Maggie, there's something they want you to know. My fork froze midair. What's that? My mother's voice cut like a knife. Your father and I finalized our will. The house, the Tahoe cabin. It all goes to Tristan and Olivia. My stomach dropped. I glanced at my father, praying he'd laugh and say it was a misunderstanding. But he just stared at his wine silent. Tristan smirked. Don't look so shocked, sis. You're doing fine on your own. You don't need it. I swallowed the rising anger. I paid off this mortgage, Tristan. I covered your tuition, 5 majors worth. And the Tahoe cabin. I paid for every inch of its renovation. Olivia twirled her hair, eyes glinting. Well, maybe you should have saved your money. The roast on my plate turned to ash in my mouth. In that moment, surrounded by flickering candles and greedy eyes, I knew this wasn't a dinner. It was an ambush. And I'd walked right into it. Silence clung to the dining room like a thick fog after my mother's announcement. My pulse thudded in my ears. I tried to swallow the knot in my throat. I leaned forward, my voice low but trembling with disbelief. You're leaving me with nothing. After everything I've done for this family? Tristan snorted. Oh please, Maggie. You act like your Mother Teresa. You're just mad because you didn't get your way for once. I turned to my father, hoping for a shred of reason. Dad, say something. You know I paid your mortgage on time, even when you were on the verge of losing your house. I covered the bills. I paid for Tristan's 5th attempt at college. Does none of that matter? He stared at the roast, eyes dull. It's done, Maggie. Olivia propped her chin on her hand, smirking. You make it sound like we forced you. No one begged you to help. My chest burned. No one begged me. I remember you showing up at my apartment crying when your lease fell through. I remember the late night calls when the bank was threatening to take this house. I pointed around the room, at the table, the roof, the warm lights, all my doing. And now you're saying I don't need any of it. My mother crossed her arms, voice cold as steel. Maggie, you're selfish. Always counting pennies. Family is about sacrifice. Sacrifice? My laugh came out cracked and sharp. I sacrificed my 20s, my savings, hell, my dreams. So you could keep this house. So Tristan could keep pretending to be a student. So Olivia could hop jobs every 6 months. And you dare call me selfish? Parker leaned back in his chair, his smug grin widening. You're acting like a spoiled brat who lost her toy. A low fury buzzed through my veins. I stood palms flat on the table. The plates rattled from the force. You know what? You're right. I was your toy. Your walking wallet. But no more. My father's head snapped up, anger flickering behind his eyes. Sit down. We're not finished. Yes, we are. My voice didn't shake now. It was ice. You'll have to figure out the mortgage, the bills, the tuition, all of it, on your own. My mother hissed. If you walk out that door, don't you dare come back. I picked up my coat, heart pounding like a war drum. Don't worry, Mom, I won't. I didn't slam the door behind me. I left it ajar, so they'd feel the cold draft of the freedom I just claimed. I stood on the porch for a heartbeat, staring at the house, my so-called family's fortress, built on my back. It looked smaller now, brittle under the porch light that flickered like a dying star. I drove back to my apartment on autopilot, my mind spinning. Rage and heartbreak collided in my chest like a storm. But under it all was a flicker of something else. Freedom. Inside, I dropped my keys on the kitchen counter and pulled up my banking app. My hands hovered over the screen. Mortgage payments. Cancel. Utility autopay. Cancel. Tristan's tuition transfers. Cancel. Every click felt like cutting a thread that had bound me for far too long. My phone buzzed before I could even breathe. Mom, Maggie, you can't be serious. We'll lose the house without you. Another buzz. Olivia, stop being dramatic. Grow up and pay your share like always. My throat tightened. My share? I'd been paying everyone's share for years. I silenced my phone and tossed it across the sofa. But they didn't stop. The next morning, the voicemails poured in like acid rain. Do you really want to see your parents homeless? My father's voice dripped with rehearsed guilt. You're so ungrateful. All they ever did was love you. Olivia snapped in hers. But the worst was Tristan's lazy drawl. You can't just cut us off, Mags. You owe us. Don't be asterisked. I clenched my fists so tight my nails bit into my palms. Owe you? I sat down at my tiny kitchen table, the one I bought secondhand so I could send more money home. I stared at the stack of receipts which I paid for, the new roof, the Tahoe Villa repairs, the late bills I covered while they vacationed. A sharp laugh escaped my lips, not from amusement, but from the absurdity of it all. They didn't love me. They loved my bank account. My phone lit up again. This time I answered. My mother's voice crackled through. Maggie, please, be reasonable. No, my voice was calm, almost frighteningly so. It's done. I'm done. Don't call again. I hung up, breathing hard, chest tight. Then I did the one thing I'd never dared. I blocked every number. Mom, Dad, Tristan, Olivia. One by one, their names disappeared from my contacts like rot scraped from a wound. And for the first time in years, the silence that followed felt like air in my lungs instead of a chain around my throat. The silence didn't last long. It never does with people like them. A week after I cut the financial cord, I came home late from work to find the hallway outside my apartment door reeking of chemicals. My stomach twisted when I saw it. Thick, gray construction foam stuffed into every crack of my front door. Hardened like cement. I shoved at the handle. It didn't budge. I was sealed in, or out, like a bad secret they wanted buried. My hands shook as I yanked out my phone and pulled up the security camera feed I'd installed last year, half expecting nothing. But there he was, Tristan, hoodie up, baseball cap low, grinning like a child as he sprayed every inch of the doorframe. Then he took stones and broke all the windows in my apartment. Fury rose like bile in my throat. I dialed his number. He picked up on the second ring. Tristan, I hissed. You think sealing my door shut is going to scare me? You broke all the windows in the apartment. His laugh was as smug as ever. Consider the lesson, sis. Actions have consequences. You're damn right they do, I spat. I'll show you what real consequences look like. I hung up before he could sneer another word. The next morning, I filed a police report, footage and all. When the officer asked if I wanted to press charges, I didn't hesitate. Yes, and I want him to pay for the damages, every cent. I sent Tristan and my parents an official notice demanding $27,000, repairs, cleanup, and legal fees. For once, they couldn't ignore me. 3 days later, the money hit my account. No apology, just hush money to make me disappear. But they didn't know me at all. I wouldn't disappear. Not this time. That night, I sat in my apartment, the door newly repaired, and stared at the bank notification. The phone was gone, but the bitterness stayed. They wanted to intimidate me back into being their walking wallet. Instead, they forced me to realize I'd never been freer. Let them try again. I was ready. After with damage to my property incident, they tried their last dirty trick. They spread lies, calling me ungrateful, telling relatives I'd abandoned my poor parents on the brink of homelessness. The messages trickled in, distant aunts scolding me, old family friends calling me cruel. One night, I stared at my blank Facebook status box and took a slow breath. Then, I typed the truth. How I paid their mortgage for years, covered my siblings' tuition, and kept them afloat while they mocked me for it. I hit post. The word spread like wildfire, and for the first time, the world saw me instead of their twisted version. A week later, I sat in my tiny kitchen, phone buzzing with messages from strangers. Some thanked me for sharing my story. Some called me cold. I didn't care. I was done carrying shame that wasn't mine. When Declan messaged me, it caught me off guard. "We'd met once, years ago, at a conference." He wrote, "Saw your post. Proud of you for standing up for yourself. Coffee?" I almost said no, but something inside me, the part that was no longer chained, said yes. He met me at a corner cafe, the winter sun catching in his kind eyes. We talked about everything and nothing, my family's betrayal, his quiet life, the places we still wanted to see. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had to prove I was worthy of being loved. I was enough. Months passed. I traveled. Paris, Peru, places I'd only seen on screens while sending money back home. I took photos, laughed until I cried, and held Declan's hand on rooftops in cities that didn't know my name. One evening, standing by the ocean, Declan wrapped his arms around me and whispered, "I'm glad he chose you." I looked out at the endless water, feeling the salt on my lips and the warmth in my chest. For the first time, I wasn't someone's ATM or hero or scapegoat. I was just Maggie, whole, free, and finally home in my own skin. I was happy and have finally realized that getting rid of my toxic family was the best gift they could have given me.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.